To Kenny Callender for his latest racing tips. Ken?
Thanks very much, George. Yeah, well, I've had to duck for cover at Rose Hill because of the weather. It's a crying shame with the program we had lined up for you today. Races like the Rose Hill Guineas, the Clash of Zabeel and Stylish Century, the Ryder Stakes, the Menyon Cup. It was a Super Days racing, but unfortunately, it's going to be on a bog track. There's a little bit of good news. The skies have broken. The weather looks probably the best it's looked in the last 24 hours, so perhaps the rain won't be falling during the races. I hope not. I reckon I've got some winners for you despite the conditions. Races 4 through to 7 on the Wide World of Sports. In race 4, I like the Tommy Smith trained Rajamar, TAB number 4. He's a great tip from the track at Randwick. He doesn't mind it a bit heavy. I think he'll get home. In the Guineas, they're all saying Stylish Century and Zabeel will get bogged down in the going, and horses like Solar Circle and Stargazer and the New Zealander Castletown are going to come into the market. I reckon Stylish Century is about the best horse in Australia. I'm tipping him. TAB number 1, Stylish Century in the Rose Hill Guineas. In the Ryder Stakes, the best mud runner in the country, TAB number 7, Wong. Now, Wong disappointed last start at Canterbury at short odds. His record's much better here at Rose Hill. 12 starts at this track for 6 wins. After today, I hope it's 7 out of 13. And in race 7, I like a New Zealander who absolutely swims. You'd think he had flippers on, he goes that well through the going. His name's Kosh King. He's performed well in both Sydney and Melbourne in the past. He's over from Kiwi Land again. I reckon he'll get the cash. Number 2, Kosh King in race 7. Good luck, good punting. Back to Maxie Walker.
Yeah, thanks, Ken, and good punting to you this afternoon as well.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Sports World. Well, Sydney's now traditional wet weather in the lead up to the Easter has again thrown the major autumn races into confusion. Yesterday at Rose Hill, the 2 colts who have dominated the big races this season, Stylish Century and Zabeel, were thoroughly defeated in the $400,000 Rose Hill Guineas. Now, this Group 1 event is considered a reliable guide to the $1.3 million Derby. But if the tracks remain heavy, Bart Cummings could have another classic winner. Bart's 3-year-old Solar Circle looked every inch a Derby winner with his convincing win. It was Bart's first day back at the races following a pair of knee replacement operations, and he couldn't have timed his comeback better. The Cummings colt in the Guineas Solar Circle has made tremendous progress, and at his last start in the Far Lap Stakes, he won narrowly. The disappointment of the race was the performance of the star Stylish Century, who surprisingly couldn't get past Plum Jam to set up his usual lead. Zabeel looked to be coasting before the home turn, but it was John Marshall riding Solar Circle who gained the break.
Stylish Century is in front, but here's Zabeel. Zabeel on the outside is looming to him quickly. Plum Jam in 3rd place. Solar Circle getting a beautiful split between horses. Look at the run Solar Circle got, and he dashed to the lead as they turn for home, clear of Zabeel. Stylish Century's gone. Submariner running on, and Stargazer on the outside looks the danger to Solar Circle. Zabeel the first to crack. Solar Circle in front. He's gone for the whip. Stargazer's the only danger, if any, but Solar Circle got away from him again, and Solar Circle's going to win the William Inglis Rose Hill Guineas. In fact, he's killing him now. Solar Circle raced away, blitzed the Guineas field and won by 4 lengths or more. Stargazer second, Zabeel third.
Solar Circle is now a serious contender for the Derby, a race that Cummings has his sights set on.
Well, he's an up-and-coming horse, and those horses had a hard campaign in the spring in Victoria and here before they went to Melbourne. This horse was a fresh horse, and he obviously just come right at the right time, which is what it's all about, mate.
The other feature event, the $350,000 George Ryder Stakes, was for open-class horses at weight for age over 1,500 metres. Again, it was a 3-year-old who triumphed, this time Strasbrook, who at his first start after a long spell had won the Canterbury Stakes a fortnight ago.
Into the straight, Wong led from Comrade. In 3rd place, our Krona. Strasbrook into the clear now as they race to the 300. Comrade has raced up the tackle. Wong, Strasbrook on the outside is putting in his run now, and Strasbrook has raced up at the 200 mark and shot to the front. Strasbrook headed Comrade, who's fighting on strongly. Mr. Tez is getting a rails run, followed by Wong. Strasbrook is in front, getting close to home. Comrade hanging on gamely. Campton confident on Strasbrook. He'll win the George Ryder. Strasbrook, a brilliant winner over Comrade. Mr. Tiz might be third, just in front of Don't Play.
After the race, Strasbrook's trainer Bill Evans sprung a surprise when he suggested the colt could take his place in the Derby.
I'm going to discuss it with Neil Campton because apart from 2 or 3 in the Derby, they don't look, they look a very ordinary lot. I don't think there's anything really outstanding in it, and I'd like to get Neil's opinion on how far he thinks the horse will go.
Well, that'll be interesting to see whether Strasbourg runs in the Derby. And next week's $1.8 million Golden Slipper Stakes appears more open than ever following the two feature qualifying races yesterday. Most of the major players were back in their stables, being saved for next week. But one of the favourites, Our Horizon, appears to have lost his chance after being beaten. Colin Hayes could have 4 starters, and Draw Card, originally thought to be his outsider, is now in with a genuine chance. To declare Draw Card impressive would be an understatement. The filly careered away from her rivals and looks a superior wet weather performer.
Heads a turn for home. Draw Card got up on the fence to join Faith in Marie. Lusso in third place. Wrap around on the outside, running on strongly as they come to the 200. Draw Card got away from them. Draw Card by about a length on Lusso. Wrap around under the whip is grinding away, making little headway at the moment, but Draw Card has exploded clear. This is the one they thought wanted 1,400 metres, and she's won this like a dead set sprinter. Draw Card down to the line, wins easily over Lusso. Wrap around third, followed by Faith in Marie.
We were a little surprised how well she handled the conditions, and you know, at the end of that race there, it was one of the strongest 2-year-old wins I've seen since I've been up here anyway.
The slipper trial for colts, the Pago Pago, also produced an upset, with the hot favourite, the Queenslander, Our Horizon, losing his unbeaten tag behind the locally trained Pagan Jest.
And Pagan Jest as well clear. The boys got a good hold of it. Straightened up about 4 in front of Our Horizon. Dittman getting worried on the odds on pop. And then Thegra followed by the Austrian Pagan Jest at the 200 as well clear. Led by 3 lengths on Our Horizon. Given a hammering by Dittman. Inch by inch is picking up the leader. But Pagan Jest is revelling in the soft ground. There's a boil over coming up in the Pago Pago. He's holding them at bay as they get near home. Our Horizon can't do any better, and Pagan Jest in a boil over 1, easing up over Our Horizon. Thegra third, a good run.
Mick Dittman, who rode Our Horizon, almost certainly will now ride Triscay in next week's Golden Slipper.
You can't fault her form. Her only defeat was in the Blue Diamond, and that effort was good. She was always off the track that day, so we don't know if she can handle a heavy track if it happens to be heavy on Slipper Day, but you've got to take the gamble against that anyway.
The Manion Cup is usually a good guide to the Sydney Cup, and the ageless 8-year-old Lord Highbrow revelled in the heavy conditions to stake a claim on the big 2-miler at Randwick.
Into the straight, Dalmatinska the leader, Reasoning in second place, followed by In the Bunker, and then Savage Toss, followed by Kosh King, and Lucky Poppy is coming out of the pack. Dalmatinska still in front of the 200 mark. In fact, he got away from them. Lucky Poppy, his Go Pack about to emerge from the ruck, and Lord Highbrow down the outside with Shallier. Lord Highbrow going after them. Shallier wide out, might be dying in a run. Oh, Lord Highbrow sweeps to the lead in the shadows of the post, and Lord Highbrow wins the Manion Cup. Palace Revoltus flashed along the fence to be in a photo for second with Shallier.
He's a horse that can run the 2-mile. It doesn't matter whether it's wet or dry, and he's in great shape.
And certainly at 8, he's not over the hill as he showed today.
Well, Max, you know, I suppose we can all reach a certain stage in our lives. Some of us handle it better than others, and he's one horse that he doesn't know he's 8. He's very much like a 4-year-old to ride him.
Yes, Larry Olsen talking about Lord Highbrow. Let's look at the Golden Slipper market for next week. Triscay at 3's favourite in front of Draw Card. The weather will play an all-important part. Paklani, Canilad with me, and Mahassan. So the Golden Slipper next Saturday. Time now for Sports World's greatest hits. This week it's Cameron Maxwell of Coolangatta, Queensland, who wants to see highlights of South Melbourne's, now there's a name from the past, 1970 first semi-final against St Kilda. Well, Cameron was only 9 at the time. He'd like to relive that record attendance for a first semi-final. And there were 104,000 people at the MCG that day. The Saints defeated South Melbourne 22-11 to 13-12. The match was significant in that it was Bob Skilton's final game, and it was his first and only finals appearance. Skilton was captain, and Norm Smith, another legend, was coach of South Melbourne. Whilst another famous pair were leading the Saints, Ian Stewart, the captain, and Alan Jeans, coach. St Kilda were knocked out in the preliminary final by Carlton, who then went on to defeat Collingwood in the grand final after trailing by more than 7 goals at half-time. That was one of the great final series. The Saints, as I said, going on to the preliminary final where Carlton thrashed them 17-21 to 7-19. But this day, as Minot's about to kick another goal, it was St Kilda 22-11 to 13-12. 104,000 people at the first semi-final. Cameron, hope you enjoyed that greatest hits. And if you'd like to see your favourite sporting moment, write to us, Sports World, Post Office Box 480 South Melbourne, Victoria 3205. Back after the break, John Alexander will be starring on Sports World.
We go out to Rose Hill for the first of our live races, and a good afternoon to Johnny Tapp.
Thank you, Maxie. You use the term loosely, my boy, because it's a dirty afternoon in Sydney. I'm afraid to report we've had leaden skies since racing began. Misty rain has been falling on and off. The track is heavy, and we've had a couple of surprise results so far, to say the least. Two interesting runners in the race coming up are international horses. One of them is running in next Saturday's BMW International, namely Mountain Kingdom, a lovely horse, a 6-year-old stallion ridden by Sydney jockey Larry Olsen, and he's the winner of 6 races overseas, and a very attractive mare, Chilean bred, by the name of Panita. And Ken, she runs today in the colours of her new owner, Mr. Mike Willesee.
Yes, John, it is wet here. The skies don't look too good at the moment either, and it's just starting to sprinkle. I won't be feeling the rain if I can get a few bucks in my pocket. That not only keeps the weather out, it warms you up as well. Here's hoping. The tip here, Rajamar, he might win. Number 1, Panita, is at 33 to 1, so no one's too worried about the internationals because Mountain Kingdom's also at 20 to 1. Below them. Marwong is a scratching. Rajamar, 11 to 4 on the tote at the moment, showing $3.80. That's $3.80 for $1. Kenzai is a scratching. Our Palliser, now trained by John Sylvester up in the coalfields, formerly trained in Melbourne, is at 7 to 2. 11 to 1 High Spy. Estimable is a scratching. Gally Gaskins, a mud runner. Might be getting a bit over the hill, but he's still got a good chance here. He's at 5 to 1. Jabba Hutt at 50s. Tour de France at 7. Final Scene at 12. 20 Alibaba. 20 Eastern Cove. 25 Irish Clipper. 80 High Hunter. 200 Tredegar Lad. Phil the Bill was a scratching. I've got them in time. Give Rajamar a bit of a cheer. Here's Johnny.
Yeah, terrific old horse, Ken, on his day, and certainly conditions to suit. But we've got a little bit of a delay here at the starting point for the Hoyt Sky High Stakes. Why don't we have a look at the action in Melbourne? Race 4, see what they're doing down south.
We're back then. Here's Rakatan as they straighten up where Doug's Hope on the outside is challenging Gondabella. They're out by a length and a half to Valiant End, and down the outside Prince Carrick followed by Stardom Liner, and Rakatan is deep run the track as they run down with 250 to go. Doug's Hope being tackled by Stardom Lane over on the outside, Prince Carrick and Gondabella. Rakatan finishing on pretty well, and Valiant End got badly checked. Doug's Hope on the inside and Stardom Lane are locked together. Stardom Lane's got his head in front of Doug's Hope close to home. Doug's Hope is fighting back on the inside. Very tight, this one between Stardom Lane, Doug's Hope. They hit it locked together, and close for third also Cardo was there with Rakatan, Prince Carrick.
That was John Russell's call of race 4. Terrific finish. Stardom Lane got there by a whisker, and you would have noticed severe interference in the home straight. I think there'll be a very comprehensive steward's report to come out of that race. Now they're all in for the Hoyt Sky High Stakes. Amber light flashing starter ready for them. The gates open and they're off. Final Scene is the first out, and he bounced clear of our Tour de France. Mountain Kingdom is away well, followed by Alibaba, High Spy, Jabba Hutt, Tredegar Lad. Panita dropping well back early, followed by Gally Gaskins. And look at High Hunter going like a Newmarket horse on the outside, has rushed across to take the lead as they go to the first turn. High Hunter just in front of Alibaba, pulling a bit, followed by Irish Clipper, Final Scene, and then High Spy and our Tour de France, and tucked away next Mountain Kingdom. A length and a half to Rajamar, and further back Panita, followed closely then by Jabba Hutt, getting a good way back as our Palliser, followed by Tredegar Lad, and Eastern Cove is back at the tail. They're well spread out as they go down the back, and Alibaba pulled his way to the front by a half length to High Hunter, 2.5 to Irish Clipper, a length to Final Scene, a half to Gally Gaskins, a length to Mountain Kingdom, who's prominent, a bit more than a length to High Spy, followed by our Tour de France. Rajamar midfield on the outside of Panita, a good way back. Our Palliser on the outside of Jabba Hutt, followed by Eastern Cove, and tailed right off as Tredegar Lad. They're going at a cracking gallop up front. Alibaba and High Hunter at the 800 mark are level pegging. They're a length and a half in front of Irish Clipper, followed by Gally Gaskins. Final Scene. Mountain Kingdom has now taken out 3 deep by Larry Olsen, is starting to work into the race. A gap to High Spy and our Tour de France. Rajamar flat to the boards, followed by our Palliser, who's well back as they near the turn. To the home corner now, and Irish Clipper made a lightning move and rushed up to head High Hunter and Alibaba. Final Scene and Gally Gaskins are still there, with Mountain Kingdom on the outside as they turn for home, followed by Rajamar, our Tour de France, and our Palliser. Irish Clipper going strongly in the straight. Old Gally Gaskins coming after him. Mountain Kingdom is running on boldly, and then Rajamar and our Tour de France. They haven't got Irish Clipper yet. He's still in front. Gally Gaskins, Mountain Kingdom closing, and his out Tour de France pouncing on the lot of them. It's Irish Clipper, Gally Gaskins, Mountain Kingdom, our Tour de France. Can't reach them. A terrific go as they get to the line. Gally Gaskins in the middle by a whisker to Irish Clipper. Mountain Kingdom has run a bottling BMW trial to get third. Then our Tour de France and Rajamar, followed by Final Scene, our Palliser, High Spy, Panita. Well back is Jabberhut, followed by High Hunter, and then Tredegar Lad and Alibaba, and last of all is Eastern Cove. What a cracking BMW trial by Mountain Kingdom, with a very courageous third in the race. But the winner, in a photo, Gally Gaskins, has bobbed in the heavy ground to get there narrowly. Marvellous old horse on rain-affected ground, Gally Gaskins. And number 9, Gally Gaskins, will pay $6.10 and $2.10. Irish Clipper, number 15, a place dividend of $7. And Mountain Kingdom, number 2, a place dividend of $4. Oh, isn't there some spice starting to surface for next Saturday's BMW International, a race you'll be seeing live on Wide World of Sports.
Hoyt's Sky High Stakes over 1,900 metres. The correct numbers, as you can see there, 9, 15 and 2. Gally Gaskin, $6.10 and $2.10. Irish Clipper second, $7. And Mountain Kingdom fast finishing third, $4. Kenny Callender has a tip for Sydney race 5. It's number 1, Stylish Century. In basketball, the new...
Coming right now, we've got the all-important Guineas out at Rose Hill, and here is Johnny Tapp.
Good on you, Ken, and Rose Hill's the venue. Still very ominous-looking weather, and the track is heavy as we come to the $400,000 William Inglis Rose Hill Guineas, and the runners are at the barrier. Now, once you get down past the middle of the field, it's a pretty mediocre Guineas bunch, but up near the top you've got horses like Stylish Century and Zabeel, who fought out a titanic struggle in the Alistair Clark Stakes in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago. Zabeel got there. A protest by Stylish Century was dismissed. So, Ken, there's sure some incentive for Stylish Century to knock Zabeel off today.
I hope he can, John. It's a thrilling race, a great field, plenty of quality in the race. I wish it was a hard, fast track, then Stylish Century would give him some. I still hope he can win. I still think he'll win on the wet, but it's probably not in his favour. The prices, Stylish Century's a clear-cut favourite with tote punters at 3 to 1. He's in now to 11 to 4, $3.70. Zabeel, he's been neglected a little bit on the tote, but is still showing 6.5 to 1. 11 to 2, 5.5 to 1, Castletown, the New Zealander. 40, Rentino. Mick Dipman's Mount Stargazer is well in commission, just getting out of fraction to 6 to 1. 7 to 1 now, Majestic Boy, to be ridden by Shane Dye. Counterfeit is at 25 to 1. Solar Circle, he likes the wet track. He would have been a lot longer odds on a dry track, but he's got a good chance in the wet. He's at 7 to 1. 30, 3-0, Coconut Shy. 12, Submariner, Jimmy Cassidy's Mount, another Bart Cummings trained runner. Cassidy and Cummings won the Canterbury Guineas with Interstellar. 60, Prince Phil. 40, Phil the Bill. 200, Gomez. 40, Plum Jam. 80, Red Fluke. 200, Saxford's Image. And the emergency Tyburn Tree was not required. Okay, well, they're only half in the barrier at the moment. We've got plenty of time. Why don't we have a look at race 5 at Sandown? It's been completed a few minutes.
Captain Police as they set sail for home with about 300 a runner. Here's Port Phillip moving up on the outside to tackle Blimey Charlie Marine Habiter. Wider on the track is Clint running on pretty well, and they're followed by Ben's Imperial. It's Clint coming after Port Phillip, who's in front with 150 to run. Port Phillip is holding Clint in the final stages. Port Phillip is hanging on. Clint is trying hard, then Blimey Charlie, but Port Phillip in front close to home, and Port Phillip has won it. Port Phillip has won from Clint, and a good go for third. My Exile averted, and Blimey Charlie in a photo for the minor placings. Then Ceramus Benson.
Well, you wouldn't find a more topical name for a race winner in Melbourne than Port Phillip, who won that race very impressively, an imported American horse, and he certainly looks like paying his way in Australia. Now, a horse called Red Fluke engaged in this Guineas, just loosened a plate on the way to the barrier, which the farrier had to rectify, but they're certainly taking their time with it. So here we are now. There's a good close-up of the farrier in action. I've said it many times before, but the one member of the racing fraternity who gets my supreme vote for dedication and perseverance is the farrier. I think he does an enormous job. Number 15 horse is Red Fluke, by the way, trained by Paul Sutherland. The farrier has a back-breaking task. In fact, I don't think I've ever met a farrier who doesn't have at least a minor back problem. And if ever you've been underneath a horse trying to tack a shoe back on, as I have several times, some horses will cooperate, some do the opposite. They transfer every ounce of weight onto the farrier. So you're trying to tack a shoe on and hold the horse up at the same time. And, oh, it's tough work. I've seen them on really hot days doing it very, very tough indeed. They deserve every cent they get. and members of an old world art, if ever there was one. Old timers, of course, will tell you that way back towards the turn of the century, the blacksmith had a lot more to do than shoe horses. If you wanted a new kettle or a new kitchen utensil, you didn't go down to the hardware store or the supermarket. You went to the blacksmith, and he'd knock you one up while you were waiting for it. Now, Majestic Boy moving into the gates, waiting on Princeville and Submariner to come in, and also Gomez and Sackford's Image. Quite a carnival atmosphere down there behind the starting point, with one of the sponsors' marquees adjacent to the starting chute, and it's rather reminiscent of the start of the English Derby, as a matter of fact. I don't think I've seen that carnival atmosphere here before at Rose Hill, but it certainly lends a bit of flavour. Now, there's the rider of Red Fluke in the bottom right-hand corner of the picture, actually just getting out of sight, and that's Malcolm Johnston, who's about to remount. Malcolm won the Big Brambles Classic at Kembla last Tuesday on With Me, who's now running in the Golden Slipper. There's Malcolm on foot. Good on you, mighty Mal. There's the little man who rode to fame and fortune on the back of the great Kingston Town almost a decade ago. Kingston Town's regular jockey. Now, Red Fluke appears to move in now and complete the line, and the Guineas field looks just about intact. Sackford's Image, Fill the Bill, Majestic Boy, Stylish Sensory, all facing up well. This is a blind start for most patrons. As soon as the official lowers the white flag on the turnout of the straights, that indicates that the field has been dispatched, and it's only a matter of seconds before they come into view. The William Inglis Rose Hill Guineas for 1990. $400,000 in prize money. And Stylish Century, the heir apparent really to Vo Rogue as far as fast front runners are concerned. He has the same racing style of Vo Rogue. He likes to get out in front and set a cracking pace, as he's done in so many of his wins, including the Victoria Derby and the Spring Champion Stakes. And no doubt he'll try and do that today. The stalls fly open. They're away in the William Inglis Rose Hill Guineas. And as the field charges into view, the leader is the New Zealander Rentino. Zabeel is prominent, so is Plum Jam. Stylish Century being steadied midfield in the early stages of the race. Now, Plum Jam takes over, going over the first crossing to lead Fill the Bill. Sackford's Image Counterfeit. Stylish Century wide out, is being allowed to sneak up closer to the lead by Kevin Moses. Zabeel's going to settle on the fence in the box seat, out very deep, Coconut Shy. And then Sackford's Image, followed by Stargazer, Gomez, Majestic Boy. A good way back, Solar Circle, followed by Castletown, and then Red Fluke and Submariner, and Princeville is last as they go to the back. 1300 out, and Plum Jam is the leader. Plum Jam by a length and a half to Stylish Century, content to sit in behind, although he's now going up closer. He might take over here in a moment. Zabeel is third on the inside of Counterfeit, followed by Rentino. Close handy then is Fill the Bill. A couple of lengths further back in the field, Stargazer on the inside of Sackford's Image, followed by Gomez. Coconut Shy up in front of those horses. Further back then came Solar Circle, followed by Princeville, Majestic Boy, Submariner, Castletown, and Red Fluke has now dropped out to be last. Plum Jam leads the Guineas field at the 800 mark. Stylish Century about to grab him. In third place, Zabeel getting a beautiful run on the inside of Counterfeit. Out deep as Coconut Shy, followed by Fill the Bill. Rentino losing ground. Stargazer getting up on the fence, followed by Solar Circle, who's tailing him through. At the head of the others, Majestic Boy, then Sackford's Image, Submariner, Princeville and Castletown as they near the turn. Stylish Century is in front, but here's Zabeel. Zabeel on the outside is looming to him quickly. Plum Jam in third place. Solar Circle getting a beautiful split between horses. Look at the run Solar Circle got, and he dashed to the lead as they turn for home, clear of Zabeel. Stylish Century's gone. Submariner running on, and Stargazer on the outside looks the danger to Solar Circle. Zabeel the first to crack. Solar Circle in front. He's gone for the whip. Stargazer's the only danger, if any, but Solar Circle got away from him again, and Solar Circle's going to win the William Inglis Rose Hill Guineas. In fact, he's killing him now. Solar Circle raced away, blitzed the Guineas field, and won by 4 lengths or more. Stargazer second, Zabeel third, fourth Castletown, then Fill the Bill, Stylish Century, Submariner, Princeville, and then Plum Jam, Majestic Boy, Sackford's Image, Rentino, Red Fluke, Counterfeit. Gomez is second last, and Coconut Shy is last to finish in the William Inglis Rose Hill Guineas of 1990. The winner, Solar Circle, is now trained by Bart Cummings, ridden by John Marshall, to pay tote odds of $8.60 and $2.60. 5, Stargazer, Mick Dittman second, $2.30. Third, number 2, Zabeel, Michael Clark, a place dividend of $2.60. And you've seen all the action in the Guineas on Wide World of Sports.
metres. The correct numbers looking for 8, 5 and 2. Solar Circle, 8.60 and 2.60. Stargazer second, 2.30 and Zabil coming in third, $2.60. Kenny Callender has got a tip for race 6. It's number 7, Wong, and I hope he's right. Australian rules football.
Gotcha. Oh, Jesus. Okie doke. Here we are at Rose Hill for the George Ryder Stakes, and they're over at the starting point. A very, very interesting race. I think you'll find a very wide market reflects that fact. Bookmakers and punters alike seem to be having a real battle to sort out a popular pick. Big overseas representation and interstate. Alquoz from Great Britain is a very handsome horse. He's got a good record in his home country. And the 3-year-old Strasbrook, brilliant winner of the Canterbury Stakes when resuming a fortnight ago, is also in commission. Now, Ken, the betting has settled down as much as it's going to be. How does it read?
John, it doesn't read too well if you like my tip Wong and you want to bet it on, back it on the tote, because on the tote he's showing $4.20, which is odds of 3 1/4 to 1, and with the bookies he's about 2 points longer. Not a good advertisement for the TAB, but I think he'll win. He loves wet tracks. He'll be damn hard to beat. Number 1, Alquoz, the horse John spoke to you about. He's one of the Sheikh Hamdan's horses, trained by John Dunlop in England. He's at 40 to 1 on the tote. Bit of money for him in the ring, funny thing. He's still at reasonably long odds, but he has been specced. Mr. Tiz at 14 to 1, 16 Groucho, 20 Lygon Arms, 7 Card Shark, 7 Planet Ruler, 3 1/4 to 1 Wong, 16 Don't Play, Mighty Grey and Cold Diesel are both scratched, 16 to 1 Our Krona. He's a little bit shorter in the ring, still showing $17 on the tote. Lightning Bend is at 5.5 to 1, Comrade at 10 to 1, down to 100 to 1 Dawn Success. Strasbrook, he's coming in a little bit now to about 7 to 1. Rechabite is a scratching, and Shame on You is a 40 to 1 chance. The prices on the George Ryder Stakes of 1990, about 5 still to move in. I'm on Wong. Here's Johnny.
OK, Ken, gee, it's a tough race on paper. The heavy track, of course, will be quite a leveller. And we have half the field to move up. Lightning Bend is about to move in. I think it's time we had a laugh on Wide World of Sports. What about men's synchronised? Oh, what about those blokes? Good stuff. OK, they're all in with the exception of Lygon Arms, and they'll be away very shortly in the George Ryder. Hasn't been a sign of the sun all day here. Very grey skies overhead. Been a late move apparently here on the tote for Our Krona. Now the last couple have moved up into line, and they appear to be about set and ready now as the starter Billy Dale jumps onto his rostrum and picks up the button. 1,500 metres the journey. Planet Ruler reared. He's up in the air in the gates. Spoiled to start. Stalls open. They're away. And a pretty good start. Alquoz dwelt. He's a clear last out of the barrier. And bouncing out in front is Our Krona, taken on immediately by Wong. Quickly into stride, Don't Play, followed by Lightning Bend and Strasbrook running about 5th on the inside when they get going, followed by Groucho. Shame on You as midfield, followed by Comrade, and then Card Shark, and further back Dawn Success with Planet Ruler. Mr. Tiz well out of his ground early, and so is Alquoz, and Lygon Arms went back to be last, but Wong had cleared out at the 1,000 mark. Opened up a lead of 4 lengths on Our Krona. A length and a half to Lightning Bend in 3rd place, followed by Comrade, who's getting up on the fence. Shame on You trapped a bit deep. Strasbrook is in on the fence, followed by Don't Play and Planet Ruler between horses. A gap then to Groucho. Further back is Alquoz, followed by Lygon Arms and Card Shark. A gap to Mr. Tiz, and tailed right off now is the imported horse Dawn Success at the 600 mark, and Wong led about 3 lengths on Comrade. Lightning Bend 3rd, Our Krona 4th, and Hard Ridden followed by Shame on You. Strasbrook is on the fence right behind those turning for home, followed by Card Shark and then Planet Ruler. Into the straight, Wong led from Comrade. In 3rd place, Our Krona. Strasbrook into the clear now as they race to the 300. Comrade has raced up the tackle. Wong, Strasbrook on the outside is putting in his run now, and Strasbrook has raced up at the 200 mark and shot to the front. Strasbrook headed Comrade, who's fighting on strongly. Mr. Tiz is getting a rails run, followed by Wong. Strasbrook is in front, getting close to home. Comrade hanging on gamely. Campton confident on Strasbrook. He'll win the George Ryder. Strasbrook, a brilliant